Today, Kobe Bryant would have been celebrating his 42nd birthday. I imagine that any fan of his, any friend of his, any family of his wonder how he would have spent it, what he would have done. I know he would have spent it with his family, his wife and kids. I imagine that he and Gianna probably would have had a film session. Watched the Laker game last night, seeing what aspects of the game they could pick up and apply to their team. I imagine he probably would have had some phone calls to answer, some text messages to answer, some emails. Probably would have gotten some writing done, some work done. But we'll never know what he would have done because, unfortunately, they, along with 7 other people, are not here anymore. The 7 people who were with them in the helicopter are not here anymore. So we'll never know what they would have done. And in the months since their passing, it's just been a lot of people going and looking up any kind of information on Kobe that they could, any kind of interviews they could find, looking at old games, reading. One thing for me, I finally bought his book, Mamba Mentality, and written a review on that and the lessons that I was able to apply, to my life. And the great thing about the book is that it doesn't just talk about basketball. Man, I feel like only the most shallow-minded people would only see it as a basketball book. And anybody who is truly digging into the information and truly searching for material, truly searching for information, will find that it's just a guide to living life, a guide to enjoying life and living it to the fullest, a guide to working hard, and a guide to working smart, a guide to a journey that this life is going to end up being, that any successful life is going to end up being, and all the different aspects of that life and all the different things that you'll notice and the things you'll appreciate sometimes only after the journey is over. And so I think that the best way to honor him today and moving forward would be just to apply those things. He said that the journey is the dream. The waking up early and getting your shots in, the working out ridiculous hours of the night, the pushing through injury, the pushing through pain, the relationships that you have along the way. Those things are the things that you dream about. Those things are the things that life is all about. Those things are the things that make the success that you get that much sweeter, because you know how hard you fought and how hard you worked to get there. And nobody will ever be able to question his work ethic. Nobody will ever be able to question how bad he wanted to be successful, how bad he wanted to be the greatest of all time. And nobody will ever be able to dispute the fact that he got there. Nobody will ever be able to question his place in history, how great he would go on to become. But I think that the best part of his greatness, I think that the best part of his ability to continue to rise to the occasion, the best part of, the fact that he was a player that we'll never be able to forget, is the fact that he left us a blueprint on how to do that for ourselves. And he wanted to see us all do that for ourselves. He wanted to see people apply the Mamba mentality to their life. He wanted to see us apply those principles and become something greater than ourselves. And to see her be part of something greater than ourselves and see us become the best versions of ourselves. One of the best tributes that I've seen to him in recent memory is it was a video by The Ringer talking about the audacity of Kobe. And, thinking about that, it's, you think about the audacity he had. You think about how crazy it was for a 17-year-old to announce he was skipping college to go straight to the NBA, to the highest level of professional basketball that ever existed. The audacity to skip the only development stage he would have, to go and play with people 10, 20 years older than him. The audacity to take the hardest shots in the first significant playoff series of his career. The audacity he had to want to become the greatest player of all time, playing next to the most dominant player of our era. And the audacity to go and do it, to become that guy, even though he was playing next to somebody who obviously would demand and command touches. The audacity to become one of the greatest players in the league at 21 years old, when other guys are just trying to figure out their role on the team. The audacity to, at the top of his game, at the height of his game, reinvent himself. Once injury and his playing style had caught up to him, to focus on footwork, to focus on his post game, to focus on aspects of the game that nobody else would think of, and become probably the most skilled player of all time, the most fundamentally sound guard of all time. The audacity to come back from what was supposed to be a career-ending injury, especially at his age. The audacity to shoot 50 shots in your last game, on your last leg, and still win and will your team with a 60-point effort that'll probably never be seen again. The audacity to become an Academy Award winner within a year of retiring from basketball. He lived his life with audacity, and he taught us to do the same thing. And I think about it, and it's like, he had the audacity to leave us. And I think that's the thing that hurt the most, because it was the first time that any of us had to see him as human. It's the first time he didn't get back up. So even though he had to leave, he had the audacity to leave us before we were ready. But I believe that in that moment, God told him and everybody else with him, the job's done. And well done. And so now it's just up to us to learn that audacity, learn that heart, and have the audacity to keep going.